Film fans around the world know who Tom Hanks is. The man has played some of the most iconic characters in cinema history, and he's got the kind of career that make any actor go green with envy. Some of his movies were definitely products of their time though, and Hanks seemed to agree. He thinks those films wouldn't get made at all today. His comments have left fans shocked, so let's break down what he said. First up, changes in Hollywood. In a recent interview with the New York Times, Hanks noted that two of his most famous movies wouldn't get made the same way today. Which two movies? Well, the answer might surprise you because they are arguably Hanks' biggest parts. Both of them won him Oscars. That's right, we're referring to 1994's Forrest Gump and 1993's Philadelphia. According to the actor who starred in them, both of those films were a product of their time and wouldn't get made in today's cultural climate. Things in Hollywood are constantly changing, and a lot of things that were acceptable in a prior era aren't anymore. That's basically what Hanks is getting at with his statements, and honestly, they make a ton of sense. Hollywood today is all about authentic representation and giving a voice to the voiceless. In the past, that kind of inclusivity wasn't as important as just telling the stories of minorities. That's why certain films were important for their times, but simply wouldn't fly today. Take Philadelphia, for example, which is about a gay lawyer played by Tom Hanks, taking a stance against his homophobic company. Back in 1993, talking about AIDS and LGBTQ+ talking points was still pretty taboo, and most people wouldn't have given Philadelphia a shot without a bankable star like Hanks in the lead role. Thankfully, viewers have become a lot more accepting, and the thought of not watching a film because it features a gay character is pretty laughable now. Authenticity is important for moviegoers, and that's why Hanks thinks casting a straight man in the lead role wouldn't be acceptable anymore. The same goes for Forrest Gump, which had Hanks play a character with intellectual disabilities. Most modern viewers think characters like that can reinforce harmful stereotypes about disabled people, and Hanks thinks that's why movies like Forrest Gump don't play as well today as they did in the 90s. The actor did go on to defend the film though, calling it a humane story that still brought him to the verge of tears. Forrest Gump is a one-of-a-kind movie, so that's something we can definitely get behind. Now for a cultural shift. There are actually a ton of actors and actresses who agree with Hanks' stance, and countless examples of stars realizing they've entered a different era. Eddie Redmayne has expressed regret for taking on the role of a trans woman in 2015's The Danish Girl, even though the part earned him an Oscar nom. In 2020, Hank Azaria stepped away from his role as Apu, an Indian character in The Simpsons, which is one of the longest-running shows of all time. Scarlett Johansson had to resign from the film Rub and Tug because of the controversy around her playing a trans man. Things are changing in Hollywood. People are demanding realness, and that means we'll have to let go of some cultural relics. That's not to say people aren't still playing gay and trans roles in movies. Jared Leto won an Oscar for playing a transgender woman in Dallas Buyers Club, and Timothy Chalamet's breakout role was as a gay teenager in Call Me By Your Name. There are still a bunch of actors playing roles that aren't necessarily authentic to them, and we'll just have to see if that continues. We know one thing for sure though, and that's the good stories still sell. Authentic casting definitely adds to that, but it's not everything. Next, we have Hanks' headline tour. Tom Hanks isn't running out of movie roles anytime soon. The beloved actor has been traveling around the world to attend screenings for Elvis, and it's been a headline-heavy year for him. We got our first headline when he showed up to the film's London premiere sporting a super slim frame. Fans weren't expecting to see the 66-year-old star looking this trim, and we're really happy for him. Other headlines from the tour have been a little more worrying though. Hanks gave a short speech at the Gold Coast premiere of Elvis in Australia, and the videos from the event were a little alarming. They show his right hand trembling a ton while holding the microphone, to the point that he had to put that hand in his pocket and hold the microphone in his left. The footage actually had fans worried that the actor might be unwell, and that's honestly super sad. We're pretty sure no one wants to see Hanks miss out on roles because of his health. Hollywood just wouldn't be the same without him. We've still got Elvis to look forward to though, and based on everything we've seen so far, the film looks like a terrific time at the movies. And now, an awesome new film. What's it all about? Elvis is actually a biopic based on the life of the iconic American pop star, and it's directed by someone who knows a thing or two about rock and roll. This is Baz Luhrmann's sixth feature film after a string of successes, including Romeo plus Juliet and Moulin Rouge. Expect some crazy CGI, outsized performances, and wild sets in Elvis because Lerman never misses out on those. And with an $85 million budget at his disposal, he's got the funds to deliver on his vision. We're pretty excited to see Tom Hanks in Elvis, and not just because it's such a massive production. The actor is going to play the colonel who served as the pop star's manager, and we don't normally see Tom play these kinds of characters. That's because the colonel is actually the villain of the piece. Since the guy exploited Elvis for his talent back in the day, we mostly see Hanks playing nice guys on screen, so this is an interesting direction for him to go in. To be honest, it's pretty awesome to see him trying new things so late in his career, and that's why we're super hyped for Elvis and whatever comes next. Next, in other news, Christian Bale didn't know about the MCU. This might be hard to believe, but it's true. Christian Bale didn't know what the MCU was. The actor plays Gore the God Butcher, the main antagonist of Thor: Love and Thunder, so that obviously came as a bit of a surprise to the fans. In a recent interview, the acclaimed actor revealed that he had no idea what the MCU was and had to ask what the term meant when it was brought up. Imagine that. For a guy who once played Batman, the actor knows shockingly little about the world of superheroes. This tells us that a ton of established actors still have no clue what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, even though it's all the rage at the box office. Thankfully, Bale's ignorance didn't stop him from nabbing a major role in Thor 4. We'll see him in action as the terrifying Gore when Thor: Love and Thunder hits theaters on the 8th of July. And now, Michael J. Fox to be awarded honorary Oscar. Michael J. Fox will be awarded the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award at the Academy's 13th Governors Awards. The award ceremony will be held on November 19th and will recognize Fox's tireless efforts to combat Parkinson's disease. The actor has been suffering from the disorder since the 90s. Most of us know Fox from his role as Marty McFly in the Back to the Future franchise, and this award is hardly the first for the beloved actor. He's also won 5 Emmys, 4 Golden Globes, and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, just to name a few. Fox learned he had Parkinson's back in 1991 and went public with his condition in 1998. He later set up the Michael J. Fox Foundation, an organization that works towards finding a cure for Parkinson's. The foundation funds research and speeds up the pipeline for scientific studies to pharmaceutical treatments. We're pretty sure we speak for everyone when we say it's about time Fox was recognized for his efforts. Finally, a 4-hour cut of Elvis exists. Elvis has a runtime of about 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that's pretty hefty. According to Baz Luhrmann, though, a 4-hour theatrical cut of the film also exists. The longer version includes a bunch of additional scenes that offer greater insight into Elvis's relationship with his girlfriend Dixie and his meeting with President Nixon. Mega-sized cuts of movies like this one aren't uncommon. Zack Snyder released his own 4-hour cut of Justice League just last year, and Peter Jackson famously put out extended editions of his Lord of the Rings movies. Those versions are so long that they add up to 12 hours across the 3 films. Those editions came out long after the original release, so we'll probably only see Luhrmann's 4-hour cut when Elvis is released on Blu-ray. That'll be a couple of months after Elvis releases in theaters on June 24th, but that's okay. That version is specifically for die-hard fans. That's a wrap for today's video. What do you think of Tom Hanks' statements? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.